So, let's talk about something that's been showing up constantly in my comments, and honestly, it feels like people just can't get enough of it. I'm talking about Pi Network. What is it? Is it the future of money, or is it just another scam waiting to collapse? It's a question a lot of people have, and today we're going to dig into it together. Pi Network started from one very simple idea: what if cryptocurrency could be mined by anyone, not just tech experts with expensive computers? Normally, when you hear about mining Bitcoin or Ethereum, you think about giant machines running day and night, eating up electricity, making so much noise they sound like a jet engine in your living room. But Pi wanted to flip that whole concept on its head. Instead of needing specialized hardware, they made mining as simple as opening an app on your phone and tapping a button once a day. That's it. You don't drain your battery, you don't rack up a crazy power bill, and yet, you're earning Pi coins. That level of accessibility caught people's attention in a massive way. Tens of millions of people from all over the globe have downloaded the app, pressed that button, and slowly built up balances in their wallets. For a lot of folks, Pi was their first experience with crypto. It didn't feel intimidating, it didn't feel like a gamble requiring thousands of dollars, and it gave them a sense of being part of something bigger. The founders of Pi, a group from Stanford University, understood something crucial: a currency doesn't just get its value from fancy technology, it gets its value from people who believe in it, use it, and exchange it. In other words, the real power is in the network. Now, before we get into how Pi is changing the conversation around money, let's step back and remind ourselves how traditional money works. On the surface, it feels simple. You get paid, your money shows up in a bank account, and you swipe your card or go to an ATM whenever you need cash. But behind the curtain, it's not nearly that straightforward. Your money doesn't actually sit in the bank as a little pile of cash with your name on it. What you really have is a promise. A digital entry in the bank's ledger says you have a certain amount, and when you request it, the system makes it happen. Think about withdrawing cash at an ATM. You insert your card, punch in your PIN, and the ATM contacts your bank through networks like Visa or MasterCard. The system checks, do you have the funds? If yes, it spits out the bills, and the bank updates the digital ledger to reflect the withdrawal. It's reliable, but it all relies on centralized institutions, giant servers, and trusted intermediaries. And while it works, it comes with downsides. Moving money across borders is slow and expensive, and billions of people on this planet don't even have access to a bank account in the first place. That's the world that cryptocurrency in general, and Pi Network in particular, is trying to change. Here's where things start getting really interesting. Instead of thinking of crypto as something that's going to wipe banks off the map, imagine it working alongside them. Integration, not replacement. Banks aren't going to throw away their existing systems, but they are starting to experiment with ways to connect their infrastructure to blockchains like Pi. In practice, that might mean updating ATMs so that right next to checking or savings, you'd see a new option: withdraw from Pi Wallet. Behind the scenes, this requires some pretty clever software. Banks would use APIs, essentially bridges that let different systems talk to each other securely. One part of the system verifies your Pi wallet is really yours and checks your balance. The other part makes sure everything is encrypted and protected with multi-factor authentication so no one can just hijack your account. Once that secure bridge is in place, an ATM update could roll out, adding crypto functionality almost as easily as adding a new feature to your phone. Now picture this in real life. It's a Saturday afternoon, you're on your way to a farmer's market, and you realize your checking account is nearly empty. But you've been mining Pi for years and you've got a decent stash. You walk up to an ATM that's Pi-enabled. Instead of inserting a debit card, you hit the crypto option. The screen shows a QR code. You open your Pi Wallet app, scan the code, authenticate with your fingerprint or Face ID, and boom, your wallet is linked to the ATM for a one-time secure session. You type in how much cash you want, the ATM shows you the current exchange rate, and once you confirm, out comes the money. At the same time, the Pi blockchain records the transaction, deducting the right amount from your wallet and sending it to the bank's wallet. That right there changes everything for the average person. For years, Pi coins were basically stuck on people's phones, with no easy way to spend them. But once you can swap Pi for cash at an ATM, it becomes liquid. It's no longer just a speculative number on a screen. It's something you can actually use, whether that's buying groceries, grabbing dinner, or just having an emergency backup if your bank card gets stolen. Pi suddenly fits into your financial life alongside checking and savings accounts. And the ripple effects go way beyond personal convenience. International travel is one example. Right now, if you fly abroad, you deal with currency exchange counters at airports, hidden fees, and terrible rates. But with Pi integration, you could land in another country, walk to an ATM, scan your wallet, and withdraw local currency instantly. It doesn't matter where you're from, the system only cares about your Pi balance. Migrant workers sending money home could also save billions in fees. Instead of losing 6% or more to remittance companies, they could transfer Pi directly to their family's wallet, and their relatives could cash it out at a local ATM. That means more money stays with the people who need it most. Now, you might be thinking, why would banks even want to do this? Doesn't crypto threaten them? But the truth is, forward-thinking banks see this as an opportunity, not a threat. Every Pi transaction at an ATM could include a small fee, and multiplied by millions of users, that becomes a whole new revenue stream. Plus, it introduces banks to people who might not even have traditional accounts yet. For a bank, that's a powerful way to attract new customers. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Regulations are going to be a huge factor. Governments and financial watchdogs will want to make sure these systems are safe, legal, and transparent. The volatility of crypto prices could also make integration tricky. And then there's security. Connecting decentralized blockchains to centralized banks creates new potential targets for hackers. Adoption will probably roll out slowly, starting in a few innovative markets before spreading globally. But even with those challenges, the direction feels inevitable. Pi Network's integration with banks isn't just a futuristic dream, it's the next logical step in how we think about money. It blends the physical reliability of traditional banks with the global, community-driven power of decentralized networks. It doesn't destroy the old system, it builds a bridge between old and new. And in that bridge, everyday people gain flexibility, options, and control over their finances in ways that weren't possible before. So, what started as a simple idea, tapping a button on your phone, is now on the verge of connecting with the global banking infrastructure. And whether you're a skeptic or a believer, you have to admit, that's a pretty big deal.